Good morning, good evening, or whatever time you happen to be listening to this. Welcome to the Up Down, the only podcast where you can check your the only podcast where you can check your sanity at the door if you really want to. And I never know what I'm going to talk about until I wake up and, decide. And today we're going to talk about modern American employment. That seems to be like the best way to release all the frustrations I have surrounding the American economic system. Well, part of them anyway, because today we're just looking at employment. That's only part of the problem. Hopefully I don't go through this super fast, but we'll see how long all this takes. And the first angle we're going to look at is the obvious one. It's going to be money. Now, what does American labor look like? Not the idealized version that the moguls and the CEOs and Donald Trump and the Republican Party would have you believe. No, that isn't the real picture. Because in real world America, people are making shit for money. People can't afford to live. I mean, that's the cold hard truth. People gotta work 2 and 3 jobs to make ends meet, or they just don't pay the bills, and that happens too, because, well, if I'm being honest, sometimes it's not worth killing yourself to pay bills you'll never really pay anyway. But, yeah. Sometimes it's easier to dodge bills than to grind yourself to the dust, never to recover. Which is what the system wants, by the way. People are getting underpaid. They don't get paid shit for money for what they do. People are overworked. I mean, heavily overworked. You have somebody who will actually, it's just a repeating problem. It's a cycle that gets worse and worse and worse with time, where overworked people end up not being able to work. Because guess what? When you work too much, your body will fucking stop you from working. Did you know that? Did you know that the body will respond to the mind before the mind realizes what the fuck it's doing? So when your body lies around saying, I can't fucking move, because your mind just hasn't caught up to your body realizing what it needs yet. And when you push past that for long enough, that's what's called burnout. And we have an entire population who's living through burnout because employers just can't leave people alone, because the value of the dollar and the commodification of America is too important to care about people's health. What does rest and relaxation matter when there is money to be made, when there are people I can be ripping off right now? Somebody else's money I can be putting in my pocket. And that's America. I mean, it's a demand of time and commitment that I'm not saying it was unprecedented. I mean, it's probably better than it's ever been before. I mean, back in the 1600s or something, the knight showed up in the middle of the night and said, you get in the field, start working, I'm going to cut your head off. I guess that's what you fucking did. You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't really have a choice as a peasant. Because this is where I'm talking about it from. Because the majority of human history were fucking peasants. They're the normal. They're the standard. The laborers are the common people, and the common people are the standard by which you must rate the world and society. Because what are we judged by, if not the least among us? A chain is only as strong as its weakest link. And if that's the truth, the American race is pretty fucking weak. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, it's the truth. Because we don't care for each other. We care too much about making sure that we're taken care of and not coming together to actually meet everybody's needs. Because here's the thing that gets ignored in modern society, and that's our social needs, are the social things we need. I mean, belonging and love and comfort and all of that gooey good shit. It's just as important, if not more important, than the economic side. Especially now. I'm not saying, well, isn't the economic side the way that we get things and make things happen? And aren't there a lot of jobs that people wouldn't want to work if they weren't getting paid to do it? Yeah, sure. But if we're making people do jobs they fucking hate that much, what's the cost of that? Like, what's the good of that? I'm not saying I guess I am saying we need to completely restructure society, and I'm not saying that there isn't jobs that people do, and I'm not saying there isn't always going to be people who are willing to do that work for good money. None of these are what I'm saying. But I am saying that it's gotten to a weird point to where I don't believe that the way that an economy. Hold on, I need to do something before my coffee pot starts making a shit ton of noise. All right, where was I? Modification of America. Overworked on the pay. I could just go back, but I'll find it in my train of thought at some point. Time. Well, I guess we can just skip ahead because I forget where I was going with that last point. Sorry if you were following along. But where it leads to is that there are increasing time restraints, time commitments, right? You know, back in the day, you see, let's go back 100 years, right, before there were telephones, right? You showed up to work, you worked, and you went home, and if your boss really needed you, they had to show up on a fucking donkey. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they had to go out of their way to inconvenience you with their business, okay? Now, they don't even have to be inconvenienced. They just have to send a fucking text message, and you're supposed to jump on demand and be like, yes, sir, I agree with what you're saying, and we'll do exactly what you need me to. It's like, no, that's not how any of this is supposed to work. It's supposed to be a labor agreement. See, we've forgotten that. And I'll get to why we've forgotten that later. Actually, I'll just jump into it now and we'll go back around to the other thing later. And it's because there used to be unions in the world. Unions that, you know, actually made this shit look like a negotiation. Actually gave power to some laborers. But we've been tricked and fooled, and I'm saying both of those very intentionally. We have been tricked and fooled into believing that the working class has no fucking power in this country. Yes, it's been systemically taken away from them, but that's just not the case. And I'm sick and tired of people acting like it is. It's just we're all free agents. We need unions, and if we're not going to union, we need to find some random bullshit loophole to where we can all pseudo unionize and fall under some weird bullshit law and just create a new conglomerate type of shit and just not call it a union and say no, we're just a collective. I mean, it's a union no matter what way you look at it, but there's got to be some loophole. Right, there's got to be some way, and I'm not even talking about. I'm talking about like maybe countrywide. You know, there's fast food workers unions and whatnot, but I'm talking about retail, fast food. You know, somehow, and this is, I didn't even realize this until like very recently. Actors are the only, like acting and video games and entertainment, because video games actually, a lot of those recently unionized, and honestly, I'm not surprised because of the overlap. It's just entertainment, the entertainment industry. Why? And why in the world would they be unionized and nowhere else be unionized? Oh, it's because there's actual respect for the fucking profession and people who respect their own work and want to protect it and think it's valued, so that actors and people who create content and people who are entertainers and all that good shit, I'm throwing on like a blanket term, so that they still have a place, so that their work is protected, so that their work is recognized, and so that they have bargaining power when they come to the table. Because otherwise, when actors came and tried to get jobs in the industry, they just get strong-armed and told whatever the fuck they're going to take and accept, whatever hours they're going to take and accept, for whatever terms they're going to take and accept. And guess what? That sounds just like modern fucking employment to me. And that's what pisses me off about it. Because if I'm going to be willing to go work at McDonald's, get screamed at by fucking corporate for bullshit wages an hour, damn right I expect that you're going to respect the time I do fucking have. But no, that's not how it works. No, it works the exact opposite. Because I'm working that job, my time isn't worth fucking respecting. I'm not worth respecting. But it is worth treating me like shit when I step one foot out of line, because I won't bend to whatever bullshit metrics corporate judging shit by these days, instead of just staying there and seeing how people interact. You know, if they didn't judge a person by surveys on, and it's any corporation where you have employees which interact with the public directly, they just throw a fucking survey on there and say, here, this is how we're going to know how well you're doing, without considering the fact that surveys are only filled out by people who are pissed off anyway. Oh, you're supposed to convince them to fill out surveys. Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't sure I was supposed to shove everything down a customer's throat and piss him off. It's like corporation, it's because they're not fucking doing it. It's because corporate makes decisions and they're not forced to follow through with it. And you can see how stupid some of the shit they want people to do is. And I'm just going off on a rant, because I guess I've got a lot to say about corporations. Because they're like, these are the most effective ways to approach the customer and get them to spend more money. And it's like, how about you come down here and you walk up to all these people and say, hey, how you doing today? What can I help you with? Would you mind to fill out our survey when we're done with you? You do that for an 8-hour shift, and you tell me that it's really, really what we need to be doing. They don't work in the field. They don't work on the floors. The people working on the floors and people in the field need to be the ones determining how to do their fucking jobs themselves, because they're the ones doing it. And I'll stand by that until the day I die. Like, I think, you know, I know there's some call for oversight and there's some, oh goodness. You know, I know people can't just run willy-nilly, run wild, but like, it's like nobody likes unfunded mandates, right? And yeah, you're getting paid, but you're getting paid bullshit wages wherever you work. You're getting paid minimum wage or just barely above minimum wage, and that's even if you're breaking into lower tier management. Like, it's a fucking money racket. You know, especially all the chains that have credit cards, their own in-house credit cards, literal fucking money rackets. That is what they are, like credit card companies. Struggle not to call banks credit card companies, but banks actually do offer like good services. I know it's like, you sound like the kind of person who'd say fuck the banks, but like the banks serve an important purpose. I'm just going to be honest. Like, I've been helped out by the banks a few times because of what they are and what they do. Like, I don't have any problem with banks. I think they're good ideas. You know, as long as they're backed by the government, and they are, you know, up to $250,000. But if you got over $250,000, well, you'll be all right if you lose the other $3.5 million. You know, $250,000 is enough to live on, and if you don't think so, well, you need to grow the fuck up, and take a bit better look at the world. You hand me $250,000, I don't work again a day in my life, and I live for the rest of it on coast on that money. But like, that's just me. You know, I'd invest it. I'd use it intelligently and smartly and plan it out and be like, yes. Now I can live a life I want to. But I got to unions, and workers just don't have power anymore. We can't get together and bargain. Each worker has to negotiate for themselves. Joey, it's okay. You got it. Joey. Okay, I know you struggle with that. There you go. Okay. He can't cover his own poop. I'll probably edit this out unless I'm just really lazy, but he just can't. He can't cover his own poop. Neither of them can. I'm not sure if I failed them as a parent or what, but they cannot cover their own shit. I think I failed the one thing I was supposed to teach them, because they pee on their own. You don't have to do any of that shit. Once you just got to cut their balls off. That's how you get them to stop peeing everywhere. You cut their balls off. If they're girls and they're doing that, I'm so sorry. Get them spayed. Hopefully that'll fix the problem. But dismantling unions put hard caps on what unions could and could not do. Or really what it stopped was a couple of things from ever being stopped, and that's work expectations and hours have been substantially increased, especially here recently. You know, it used to be 40 hours a week, and that was hard fought for. 40 hours a week was a fought for point. Do we remember this? It was a battle on behalf of laborers to get there. So you don't have to work any more than that. You only have to work 40 hours a week. And now we're going back to what, I forget, what is it, like, it's not 12-12, it's like 16-8 or some bullshit, or like 14-10, I can't remember, or like 9-9-6, okay, I can't remember what the split is, but slowly and across the world, it's that your hours of leisure are shrinking. You're supposed to be spending all your time grinding, all your time working, which was the exact thing that unions were trying to fucking stop. Was the exact thing that unions fought to protect us from. And we're sitting by, because I'm going to call us collectively out for this bullshit now, because it's reaching a point to where it's our fault for not doing some shit about it. Like, I'm just being honest. It's the laborer's fault. It's the poor's fault. It's the working poor's fault for not doing some shit about it. Because it's fucking ridiculous. And that's where it's going again. They're just turning back labor rights. That's what's happening at this fucking point. That was a point for the last 50 years, and business and moneyed interest is finally getting what they want. At the same time, they've been suppressing wages for that amount of time. So productivity gains, which is all of the benefit which has come from increased technologies, and that now includes whatever productivity gains probably come from AI, because they fucking seized it like that. But calm down for a second. The wages have been kept down so that all the profits go up. People have the same amount of money, and so when they raise prices in 20 years, let's keep prices about the same for 20 years, because it's kind of while we, steal their money, and then let's start increasing prices once they don't fucking have any, so we can keep them stuck in a loop of eternal poverty. Shit, it's almost like this shit's getting orchestrated by somebody. Anyway. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but either economic forces are really a fucking bitch that we need to get control of, or this shit's being orchestrated, and I'm not really sure which, or maybe it's a little of both. Might be a little of both. And when I say orchestrated, I don't mean somebody sitting there fucking pulling the string for every little bit of it. I mean it's a large network of people who make decisions in a way that which affects policy long term, which in effect is like oh, there's a name for this in economics. It's oh my gosh, when two collusion. They don't necessarily have to be sitting there and thinking, well, we're going to control everything. They can just say, well, I'm going to do this and you're going to do this. And the effect is that they have control of the market because they've exerted that kind of power on it. That's and it's unfair because of that. That's essentially the concept behind this. And something else I don't think people are talking about is the dismantling unions. We have a real problem with health insurance in this country. For the longest time, today health insurance is bought and sold as a commodity on the private market. Your employers still provide for your health insurance, but I wonder why people are getting shitty benefits packages and not being able to use the health insurance that they have to pay a premium for every month because the deductible is too damn high for them to afford. Oh, it's because there is no collective bargaining power on behalf of unions to negotiate with these employers a better benefits package so that they have decent fucking health insurance. It's almost like you can track a lot of the problems that America has nowadays to the dismantling of unions, because they used to be strong, they used to be important, they used to protect people. Now that doesn't mean they didn't have the problems. I'm sure they did. I wasn't around for them. But, that doesn't negate the shit they actually did do for people. And now we're sitting here with looking at 60-hour work weeks, having to damn near fucking kill yourself to make ends meet. At the same time where we're more disconnected than ever. And, it's hard to look at the world and say, well, I think things are going to get better. I have just a little bit of hope that maybe the youth will be fed up. As fed up as I am, but we'll have to see about that. I can't do anything alone, and honestly, I don't know how to organize people for shit. So there's nothing I can really do. Oh, something else about jobs and the way they've escalated. They've escalated expectations, especially here recently, because no matter how you chop it up, minimum wages, especially here in Virginia. I'm in Virginia. I don't care to say that minimum wage has been increasing over the course of the past few years. And every time that the minimum wage increases, there are cuts, especially in corporate businesses. There end up being cuts, and there end up being more expectations placed on the workers who are already there. This is their attempt to not lose any profits in having to raise the wages of workers. Now what happens is you're taking workers who are already burnt out from points I've already mentioned, and you're adding stressors on top of that to them. The entire fucking economy is one step away from collapsing, and nobody wants to admit it. Why? Because we have an entire worker population who can barely get up and get to work in the fucking mornings, and all it's going to take is one big fucking push, and the entire thing is going to come falling apart, and nobody wants to fucking admit it right now. We are playing with a deck of cards because people don't have stability at home. And with a shrinking working class, with a ever-shrinking working class, and more people fighting their way into poverty every fucking day, the house of cards is going to collapse if something's not done. And this is the alarm bell I've been trying to ring for fucking years. But nobody cares and nobody's going to listen. And then when it happens, everybody's going to say, well, nobody saw it coming. And y'all are just dumbasses who won't listen. I don't think people realize how fragile this place really is when you look at it. And I used to think it was strong too, but America is held together with hope and duct tape right now, and the proof of fact is the fact that Donald Trump's in fucking office. That's the reality of America right now. We're hyper-polarized, we're hyper-fragmented, we can't get along with each other, we're politically gridlocked, and we're literally killing each other and at each other's throats now. This is no longer an exaggeration, this is what's happening with ICE now. And I'm not excusing the left, because the left would kill people too if they could, but they don't own any guns. I'm sorry I had to. I fall on the left. Don't hurt me. Yeah, if somebody actually hears this. Okay, where was I? That I like that too much. I love when I actually have a joke on the fly. It makes me feel so good about myself. Okay, now let's move on. We've talked about how employment's a problem, how unions have been dismantled, how that's terrible for the workers, and now let's talk about the really fucking maniacal part. It's how we tie identity to labor and employment. Because what's the first thing somebody asks you when you see? I mean, seriously, and this is the first thing you learn in foreign languages too. This is a universal thing. This isn't just like an American thing, but it's malicious. I'm not sure because of the way it's co-opted by businesses or because of the way it's pushed by society, or maybe a little bit of both. But you are seen as what you do for a living. You are seen as what you work for. You are seen for what you do to make money. That would be great if employment actually reflected the values and things that you hold dear to you, and people were actually allowed to do the work that was meaningful to them. Unless, of course, you think that 70-year-old grandmas working at McDonald's really deserve to have Karens yell at them all day. In which case, yep, that woman, that's her place. That's her place. It doesn't matter that she probably raised like 7 kids and then like 14 grandkids. Doesn't matter that she's worn down to the bone, and she probably deserves all the respect we can give her, right? Because there is reason to respect the elderly, because think about all the shit you go through. I mean, seriously, stop for a second. Think about all the shit you go through. They went through it probably 4 or 5 times at this point. They haven't seen shit that's going to surprise them. I don't think we realize how much life just gets people down and shit, but the old people, they deserve some slack, because they fucking trudge through it, man. I'm not saying life was better back then or life is better now, or that each generation doesn't have its own struggles, but the struggle is real no matter where you're born or when you're born. I mean, imagine being a peasant in the 1400s. The struggle was real then too. You know what I'm saying? Like, that also comes a very weird byproduct of tying identity so closely to employment, is that now being unemployed is a fucking identity statement? Really? Is that how that's supposed to work? It's not just a metric to judge the wealth of an economy? Oh, it's actually something people use to label you. Oh. Well, that seems like bullshit. But imagine if I just walked up and people are like, "Oh, how are you?" And it's like, I'm unemployed. No, how are you? I'm unemployed. They would walk away. They'd be like, "Oh, you aren't worth my fucking time. You don't work? Where's your money at? Where's your money at? Give me your fucking money." No, but what it is dehumanizing, because you're reducing people to labor and money and statistics and how much they can give you and how many resources you can extract for them. You're looking at people as a resource. And you talk about using people as tools. Well, the entire fucking economy uses people as tools. And we're like, yeah, that's just how it has to work. Isn't it? Has it always been that way? Maybe we should ask the Native Americans if that's how people had to live. Because it's been done before, which means it can be done again. We aren't fucking locked into one mode of living for the rest of eternity, or at least until the earth fucking dies, which at the rate we're going might be about 20 years from now. I'm only partly joking, but that's what makes it funny. And in the middle of all this, we have, and this is another driving factor in it, and I swear I'm going to get off my soapbox at some point and just get this shit out there. But it's the hyper-aggressive commodification of everything in America. It's like prices increase, and there's predatory competition while the prices increase. And so everything is bought and sold because everybody's trying to make more money. I mean, bottled water. When you stop to think of it, water got put in bottles and sold. This is shit that comes to us in the tap that we pay for, and yet we choose for the convenience to put it in a plastic bottle so that we don't have to pour it or get it out of the spigot or worry about purifying it. And it makes a fucking killing. I don't want to use this example, but sex was commodified a long time ago. There's a reason it's called the world's oldest profession. I'm not saying it's good or bad because it's the world's oldest profession. It's like, that's what people say. It's like, there's going to be a market for it as long as men want sex, and sex isn't free to everybody. I mean, men want sex if they have money, and people need money. The sad part is people will sell their bodies for money, and some people are willing to pay to get that kind of feeling. Honestly, I can't judge them too badly because that shit gets fucking lonely. Sometimes see why somebody would pay to feel like somebody cares about them for a night. Anyway, where was I? But that happened long before everything got commodified. It was super commodified. People are just trying to sell everything they can. Facebook Marketplace, side hustles, grinds. Everything is about making money now, and it's exhausting because that's not the center of life. I know everybody's made it the center of life, but it's not the center of life. Oh my God, can we just not anymore? That's where I'm at. Can we just not anymore? I'm tired of people treat like what I'm saying is unreasonable, or I just don't fucking get it. No, I get it. That's why I'm so fucking mad. I get it. I just shit pisses me off. All this seeps into the core of America to where we're so competitive for money that we're competitive with each other. This seeps into dating. This seeps into everywhere to where no longer do we care about looking out for one another, but we're more than happy to stab each other in the back if it means we can get what we fucking want. I know I've cursed way too much in this podcast, but hey, it's what it is, and I am who I am. I think that's Joey telling me that my time is up and I need to just go ahead and wrap it up for the day. It's been about 30 minutes recording, which I'm not sure what's going to be cut down to once I actually edit this. When I edit it, I'm not sure when. It's a Thursday. It's the 26th of February, so I guess when it comes out, if I do delay it a little bit. I do delay them because even when I get them done, I'm like, well, I'll just wait until like 6 o'clock the next day to let them out. What does it really matter? Make sure it gets all processed and all that good stuff. Anyway. I've been Alex. This has been the Up Down. Hope you either enjoyed listening to me learn something, or found somebody who's upset about, or found somebody who made you feel like the rage that you experience is not completely unjustified, and the discomfort you feel is real, and there is something more than just what looks to be how simple it looks to be. Anyway. Peace.